You see the mood? I was inspired the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, that's from Patch Fiend.
Nice.
I wore
Yeah.
that grocery shopping.
We went to there's a that bin store that I bought all that shit at. We went to it the other day, and Lindsay was laughing about. She's like, last time I was there when you weren't with, people were just like talking to me constantly about stuff and like asking me what I thought things were and everything. And she's like, but now that you were with, like, no one talked to us at all. And I was like, why is that? She's like, I don't know, because you're scary.
Hey, that picture you posted the other day with the axe throwing,
Yeah.
like that was a legit picture.
Yeah. I fucking love that. Like, I was sitting there and I was like trying to get it right. And I'm like, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, yeah. If you ever end up on an FBI list, Associated Press is going to use that picture.
Dude, I fucking hope they do. Like, it'll be the best day.
That would be.
Like, that goes up on one of those news articles, and I will just be ecstatic.
Well, if not, I'll use it. Right, we'll do some free Andrew posters.
No, the free Andrew posters is when you use like the pictures of me when Ammo was a little puppy, like me holding the puppy and smiling and like.
Yeah. Okay. Legit, right? Legit. So it's been a tough week for me.
Yep.
Right. Like the 4th was the anniversary of my mom's passing. Today's Mother's Day. It's been a terrible week. I watched a video on Facebook of a stray cat playing on a broken and discarded cat tower. And it fucking broke me.
That is a both poignantly beautiful and really tragic image.
Oh, I just give me all the kitties. Give me all the kitties. No.
Well, I mean, I'm the same way though with like puppies, where they like show images of like stray puppies like playing with discarded dog toys and stuff and like broken bits of things, and
yes,
you're just like, ah. Although that video that you posted of the people who adopted the fucking bobcat, like, or that was Josh maybe that posted that the bobcat that the family adopted. I'm like, oh, you kept it. Oh my.
I said that to my daughter. My daughter and her fiance, they just moved into their own place. And my daughter posted, I didn't know that was an option.
No, it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be an option. It's not an option.
That cutlery's so white it adopted a bobcat.
It pss, 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 a mountain lion.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Oh, no, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Like, yes, this particular one, they won out, but it's still a wild animal and a hardcore predator.
Yeah. I'll take shit only white people do for 500, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God. No. Yeah. No, don't adopt that. That's not a pet. That's a predator.
If not friend, why friend shaped?
It's not friend shaped though. It's murder shaped. But it's not that big. But it is. Have you not seen how big bobcats get?
Those are love puncture wounds though.
Yeah. Oh, good God. I mean, like, if there was any cat I was ever gonna like get, it would be a Savannah, because they look like great big wild cats. But it's because they're cats that behave like dogs, but still are as independent as cats, which means I don't have to worry that much about them.
My ex sister-in-law had 2 Maine Coons. And I think they were They're 18 and 21 pounds or something like that. And they used to jump into the yard next door and beat up those couple's pit bulls.
I believe it. That's a big cat. That's a
Mhm.
real big cat.
Well, Maine Coon is the cousin, I guess, of or originally. Okay, so it's the cousin, or it was originally brought over by Leif Erikson, right? So it's the cousin of the Norwegian forest cat.
It's so big and
Yes.
terrifying.
Yes.
I mean, they're like, some of them look very cuddly, like big fluffy teddy bears, and some of them are like, I will eat your soul.
Yes.
Like,
yes. And if a Maine Coon doesn't like you, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like Torch. I mean, and I still, like, one of my favorite cat related memories ever is watching Torch, who was a full grown tiger, walking through the kitchen of my buddy's place and bumping a broom that was leaning against like a wall, and the broom fell down and clattered behind him, and he pops up and turns around and goes, roar, in fear, and then realizes that it was just a broom. And then I'm sitting in the next room staring wide-eyed, because if you have never heard a tiger roar less than 10 feet away from you, I assure you, you will need new pants when that happens. And then he just like looks so sheepish, like, oh, it was just a, I'm just gonna go, and just like slunk out. or when he had I think they're called like terrapins or something, like this Amazonian fish that, like, the way they hunt is they go up underneath the surface of the water, and then when there's things on the water, they like create a vacuum in their mouth and go thunk, and just open up their mouth all at once and suck in all the water and just eat things, right? And the way he used to feed them when he had them, because he had them in his pool, he converted his pool to be able to hang on these things, because he ran this halfway house for zoos, so that's why he would get all these animals and stuff in. And he had these things in. The way he would feed them is he would chuck ducks, like live ducks, onto the water, and they'd paddle around for a little bit, and then thump, and they'd disappear, and there'd just be a couple of feathers on the water. And this is how these things like ate. And Torch gets up to the water, and he's looking at these fish under the water, and he keeps looking at them, kind of turning his head. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be glorious. And he, you know how cats do the weird, like, hesitant paw thing on the surface of water?
Uh-huh.
He did that, and it went thump away from him. And I've never seen a tiger try to crawl backwards out of its own skin before, but that was basically what happened. He was just absolutely like, oh my God, what just happened? And like wouldn't go anywhere near the pool for like weeks, even after the fish had been moved to their permanent home. He wouldn't go anywhere near it.
No.
Oh, it was cool though. Like he was super neat, because like having a tiger fall asleep with its head in your lap and purr in its sleep.
Uh-huh.
Just thump, 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 thump. And you're like, oh, he's purring.
Yeah, the closest I've come is a redhead I used to know.
I mean, just as dangerous and likely to cut you apart. So
yes, she was certified.
Yeah. So,
she was certified. She had the scars to prove it.
Yeah, just as dangerous as a live tiger. But yeah, no, it was funny, because like Lindsay was just like, well, no one talked to us because you're scary. And I'm like, what's scary about me? And I asked Ellie, like, what's scary about me? And like, they're just like, you just kind of got this like whole caged carnivore intensity going on that it makes people uncomfortable.
It's the best do not pet advertisement ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. And like that is apparently what I have going on, is caged carnivore energy.
Yep, deal. I'd still do William Tell though.
I
got messages. I got messages on that. somebody somebody messaged me and said that was the funniest thing they've ever read or read this week or whatever. And it's just like, yo, I didn't think it was that funny, but it got some good reacts.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that axe that I'm holding in that picture too is actually a throwing axe. Like it's literally intended to be a throwing axe. That's what it's for. So I just need a target and I can practice my axe throwing. And who doesn't love axe throwing?
Safety third, I offered to put on a helmet.
And Josh and Chris were just all about watching. They're like, "Oh, this is gonna be fucking great!" Like
Chris's line about turning around and telling the bartender either he's going to aim for the wrong one and miss completely, or you need to get ready to call 911. Oh my
god! one of those two things is about to happen. Yeah. Hey, the thing is if there's two of you, it's hard to aim. I need three, because if there's three, I know to just aim for the middle one.
Yes.
There we go.
I'll put 2 apples up. Yeah. What's up, Scott? Cantankerous Tinker. He was complaining he went fishing and got skunked.
Man, I hate that. That's been happening around here quite a bit this year. It's because it's either been so like the drought has been so bad for a while that like water levels were low, and so everything went super deep. Or now we've gotten so much rain that everything's flooded, which means that there's way too much food in the ecosystem, so nothing is going to go after a bait.
Yeah, my buddies up in Idaho, they went and they caught 2 8, I think it was a 6 and an 8 pound trout.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
Of course, they also got fucking snow that a couple days ago.
Ugh,
fucking bastards.
What? No, ew.
And just incredible pictures of the aurora the other day. Man,
I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in Wisconsin who has not seen the aurora, who didn't get to see it. So I couldn't see it Saturday night or Friday night. I couldn't see it Friday night because the city lights just completely drowned it out. You could not see it. And I couldn't see it Saturday night because we had a whole bunch of clouds move in. But the funny thing is so where I live in the city, we didn't have clouds overhead. It was a clear sky. But as soon as you left the city in any given direction, clouds. So there was no hope.
It didn't come down this far. I didn't get to see it. I was kind of
it was super incredible here, apparently. I wish I'd known in advance, but I found out like the day before.
Yeah.
If I'd known in advance, I would have like planned a great big cruise with all my supercar friends, and we would have gone and gotten some incredible photos of the cars with the aurora behind them. And like a Ferrari looks cool, but if you can get a Ferrari at night with an aurora behind it.
One of my favorite channels on Instagram got pictures of their Highland cows with the auroras behind it.
Ooh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I love Highlands. They're ornery cusses, but I do love Highlands.
They're moo puppies.
Yeah, they're bred to be kind of mischievous and
apparently they have really, really, really good meat. Like top quality meat.
I know Lindsay and I were talking about like if we ever do a hobby farm, if we ever actually get to the point that we can buy a homestead, we want to get Highlands specifically because they're capable of living on much rougher vegetation than regular cows, and they can handle temperature extremes much more easily. So we really want to get those or other heritage breeds. I really don't want any major breeds. I want heritage breeds. That's all I want is just heritage breeds. I'd really love some heritage breed cows because I don't live in Michigan, which means I don't need to worry about them destroying them all.
Yeah.
Unlike Michigan.
Yeah, the pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. Where do we want to start tonight?
Are we going to actually do an intro? I mean, I know we're like 15 minutes into it, but
fuck that.
Okay. Well, no intro for you tonight.
Let the feds listen. They can use it if they want. Play it at our trial. It's fine.
Hashtag feds, you know where to shove it.
Yes. The very first line in our scroll at the bottom is send bachelor's income heavily armed.
Yeah.
So.
Which you should probably do. That's,
okay.
that's the thing.
Do we want to go after the feds first? No, we do not want to go after the feds first. We have to cover this article. Okay. So I posted this article on my Facebook. And someone commented and said this was like GTA set with Benny Hill music.
Oh my. That is setting a stage.
A man who crashed a stolen police vehicle survived gunfire from 11 police officers and then drove off and crashed another police cruiser, all while wearing handcuffs and a hospital gown. Is in no mental capacity to appear before a judge right now, his lawyer said.
Oh my God, not the hero that we needed.
Oh,
the hero that we deserved.
Hold on. Okay. The chaotic chain of events involving at least 5 law enforcement agencies began when Gary Porter, also wanted on felony theft warrant, was discovered passed out in a chicken coop on Monday, arrested and taken to a hospital for evaluation. Paris Police Chief Mike Daly then took him to jail and had stepped out of the pickup truck to escort him inside when Porter somehow slipped his handcuffs from behind his back, moved into the driver's seat, and drove off. The chief jumped onto the truck's running boards trying to stop him, but he was thrown to the ground. Okay,
yeah,
so
terrible
far,
idea. Don't do
so
that.
Far,
but...
so far, we have a guy that was found passed out in a chicken coop. He was taken to the hospital for evaluation, where he is put in a hospital gown and handcuffed, and then taken to jail by the sheriff in the sheriff's pickup truck. Sheriff gets out, walks around the vehicle, and in the process of walking around the vehicle, think the Benny Hill music, walking around the vehicle, the guy does the old legs through the handcuff thing and puts his hands in front of him, jumps into the driver's side of the sheriff's truck, and then takes off, which means that the keys were left in, and I assume the vehicle was still running.
This man is the personification of Trevor from GTA.
Yes,
he is the personification of Trevor from GTA. Number one, and number two, was his nickname Tweeter, because he sounds like Tweeter from Varsity Blues. Like, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris just joined us. So to set the scene, Chris, we're doing this one first. I posted this on my Facebook.
Is this the handcuffed guy?
Yes, a guy commented, "This is like GTA set to Benny Hill music."
You know, I'll allow it.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. So I'm just going to reread the first paragraph. I'll start all over. I want Chris to enjoy the full picture here. A man who crashed a stolen police vehicle survived gunfire from 11 police officers and then drove off and crashed another police cruiser, all while wearing handcuffs and in a hospital gown.
I respect it.
Hold on. It's from the go. It's from the go.
Yeah.
The chaotic chain of events involving at least 5 law enforcement agencies. Yes. At least 5 law enforcement agencies began when Gary Porter, already wanted on felony theft warrant, was discovered passed out in a chicken coop on Monday, arrested and taken to the hospital for evaluation.
This doesn't sound like a story that should be from Maine. It sounds like it should be from Florida.
That's immediately what I thought.
Or possibly northern Wisconsin.
Yes. Okay.
Andrew, yep.
Paris Police Chief Mike Daly then took him to jail and had stepped out of the pickup truck to escort him, that's Porter, to escort Porter inside when Porter somehow slipped his handcuffs from behind his back, moved into the driver's seat, and drove off. The chief
Not
jumped
the
on
hero we need, or not the hero we deserve. The hero we need.
the chief
Yeah,
jumped on the
exactly.
truck's running board, tried to stop him, but was thrown to the ground. So I just picture I just pictured Chief Wiggum on the running board, just
Don't
falling
worry,
off
we got
and,
him, boys.
and rolling,
We got him.
rolling, right? Okay. All right, so we're all cut up, right? Okay. A chase ensued, joined by officers from Norway, Oxford, and Paris, the sheriff's deputies, and state police in a
Fucking
mostly
OJ chase.
in a mostly rural part of Maine, about 48 miles from Portland. They eventually deployed a spike mats that drew the tire and caused Porter to crash into the ditch. So now he's still handcuffed, he's still in a hospital gown, and now he's crashed the sheriff's truck. Okay.
We got him right where we want him.
Hold on. A bystander's video captured at least part of what happened next. With the hands still in cuffs, Porter circles around the truck and jumps into another police vehicle in full view of the officers. Shots ring out as he climbs into the second cruiser with his back to the police. So I assume he's naked. He's mooning them. As
He's not even giving a fuck about the fact that they're shooting at him.
Yes,
He's like, nah, they're basically stormtroopers.
Yes,
They're
and
not going to
the
hit shit.
second cruiser with his back to them and takes off again. The video shows him swerving and driving away. Authorities say he crashed again a short distance from there. By the end, 11 officers, that's 11 officers from five different departments, fired their weapons, and Porter was struck once by an officer's bullet.
But they're sure trained to be perfect marksmen, ain't they?
Yes. Blah, 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 blah. The Maine Attorney General said Friday that Porter was shot, treated, and released from the hospital. Okay, so he's in jail. Porter's initial court appearance on 2 counts of theft, assault on a police officer, escaping custody, eluding police, and violation of bail was set for Wednesday by video conference from the Cumberland County Jail. They're not moving him again. From the Cumberland County
Should we relocate him to no?
Video conference from the Cumberland County Jail, but defense said the medication he was given made him mumble and unable to keep his eyes open. He had another opportunity on Friday, but his attorney, Justin Leary, said he wasn't fit to go before a judge. Quote, I don't think he's mentally equipped right now to go forward.
Because you have him so doped up because you can't actually control him otherwise. Because apparently he's just too damn crafty for you.
Yes. The bystander who recorded the video of the roadside confrontation. So this is after he crashed the sheriff's truck, right? The bystander who recorded the video of the roadside confrontation in Paris, Linda Marie Mercer, said she had arrived on the scene to see a truck in the ditch and numerous police vehicles alongside it. She said she heard gunfire and saw officers shooting into the truck. She thought the person in the truck might have been killed. The officers appeared to relax. But the video shows what happened next. Porter, still cuffed in a white hospital gown, ignored shouts of, put your hands up, and climbed into an SUV that had been left with the driver's side door open. More bullets flew as he drove away.
Oh, classic.
Oh, my goodness.
I want this to be a movie.
Yeah, this is
I mean, it would be like a 15-minute YouTube video, but I want this cinematically recreated.
This is like the equivalent of Cocaine Bear.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. That. And see, we can do this. We'll have Andrew be Gary Porter.
You'll never catch me alive, fuckers.
Hey, hold on. 11 officers, all 11 officers involved, are on,
Motherfucker had 4 stars. Okay,
are on
4 stars.
administrative leave following the shooting, authorities said. It was the largest number of police officers to discharge their guns in a single incident in the history of the state.
Which is apparently, again, recruiting from the Galactic Empire for police officers.
Right?
Because somehow they can hit absolutely nothing.
They
Yeah.
have the same quality of marksmanship training as the Acorn Cop.
The Acorn Cop, yeah.
I'm hit, barrel roll. Nobody barrel rolls.
Oh,
It was
They don't do
something he saw in a John Woo movie, all right?
John Woo movie, yeah. They only do that in John Woo movies. Yes. No, I thought that was hilarious, and I had to share it. Doesn't have any bearing on us at all, but I just thought that was fucking hilarious. That was a good one.
Dude, that's again like how are these cops not like
Embarrassed?
wearing actual stormtrooper outfits? Because at this point you might as well. You have the attitude of galactic stormtroopers, and you clearly have the marksmanship of galactic stormtroopers. So I feel like at this point you should just embrace it.
Honestly, that many galactic stormtroopers shooting at the same time, I think they might have had a better chance of hitting him more than once.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what they hit him. They hit him once. 11 cops firing into the sheriff's the sheriff's crashed truck.
That's
The guy gets out attired in nothing but a hospital gown and handcuffs, circles around the vehicle and jumps into a different police vehicle and takes off.
Oh my! It just it boggles the mind.
Oh goodness!
yeah.
The
whole time we've been going through this, I've been looking, trying to find a picture of Police Chief Daley. And it almost looks like they've scrubbed everything because there's no pictures of them on the Town of Paris website. There's no pictures of him that I can identify on the police department's Facebook page. Of course, their Facebook page doesn't look like it's posted in over a year.
Yeah, he looks like the type.
Yep, he definitely looks like the type.
Oh my! It just the man has his ass hanging out. He's in handcuffs, and he eludes you not once but twice, and through a hail of gunshots.
Like you hit him once.
This you might as well have been like the whole time. Like there's just some good old boys. like what Mayor Daley was quoted as Mayor. Yeah, because Chicago. But Sheriff Daley was quoted as saying, I'll get him next time, you darn Duke boys. Doot, doot. Like
well, they weren't Barney Fife in it because he only had one bullet.
Yeah, he only had one bullet. There's a reason he only had one bullet.
And that's Porter.
Yeah, that he looks like a guy who gives no fucks.
This guy looks a bit like Trevor from GTA 5. Okay, so
yeah,
I mean fewer tattoos and slightly less sunken eye, but good God, like oh my God, really? Like
yes.
Why did they even shoot at him? It's not like he actually threatened anybody. He just ran.
Right.
I don't know.
Not that they actually shot him really much, and they probably only grazed him, but still.
Honestly, what they'll probably claim is because he had already managed to take off and elude and try to evade them once, that he was a danger to the public, and that will be their justification.
Yeah, who knows? But
Like
that
it's
was
just
hilarious.
that is absolutely GTA set to the Benny Hill theme. Like it's and the police force is apparently populated by stormtroopers. Just what I just the fact that they're shooting at you and you just get out bare-assed and just casually walk to another cruiser, get in and take off with another squad car.
Yep, tweeter definitely applies here.
Yeah, I'm going to jail.
I'm gonna go to jail.
I mean, if you're gonna go, you might as well have a good story, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that's
Right.
fair.
So there I was, passed out in this chicken coop, right?
And that's the other question is what originally did he actually do wrong? I mean, he might have been trespassing, but like
he was in the chicken coop. The lady who came out to do her chickens, she saw him and called the police. And then he had a theft warrant.
Oh, because he had a theft warrant.
Yeah. So he had a theft warrant.
I just, because it's like loitering, right? Like, is it really a crime if it's remedied by something as easy as move along now?
I mean, and did he really commit any crimes during this chase at all?
I mean, not really.
No,
he just homesteaded them.
He, squatters' rights. Squatters' rights.
He was strategically transporting those squad cars to an alternate location.
It was the door was open and nobody was in it. It was abandoned property.
Yep, you left it there for me to take, so I took it.
Yeah,
I went. Fuck you, suckers!
Okay.
Oh, that is glorious.
Yeah, that's a good one to start with.
Yeah, you would expect that would be preceded with Florida Man, but no, not Florida Man.
Not
or Youper Man.
Youper, yeah. There's some places in California. I mean,
let's be fair. There's places like that where you could very easily run into that situation in every state.
Yes, that's true. We can do a Florida Man real quick.
We should do a Florida Man, I think, off of that. That definitely.
Okay. I have a Florida Man. It's not on the list. A Florida man was arrested earlier this week after biting a chunk out of a deputy's head at an EDM music festival.
Yeah, that sounds Florida Man.
Dude, this is nuts. Okay, this is like I read this article and I was like, what the hell?
What were you on? Yes,
a lot. Yeah, it's
the Holmes County Sheriff's Department said on a Facebook one of its deputies was on foot patrol at the Soul Fest 2024 Music and Arts Festival in Ponce de Leon, Florida on Sunday when he was approached by James Michael Anderson. Anderson, a volunteer with the local festival, was allegedly high on multiple drugs, including PCP, LSD, ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy.
He was having a really good time. That man saw God that night.
He saw something.
Anderson allegedly attacked the deputy who had not been identified and tried to grab his gun. During the assault, Anderson bit a chunk out of the deputy's head, according to the sheriff's office, who shared a graphic picture of the wound on Facebook.
How much of a like are we talking skull? Because I assume we're not talking skull. Like we're just talking scalp, right? Like,
well, I mean, the amount of biting force required to take a chunk out of the skull itself, I don't think the human jaw has that much power.
I don't, but I mean, like, keep in mind, great whites have the same bite capacity as human beings. Fun fact that you all know now. Human beings have the exact same bite capacity in terms of PSI as within their jaw muscles as a great white shark. It's just great white sharks have much sharper teeth.
And much larger jaws.
Yeah. So
I can't think of a single point on the human skull where another human jaw would fit around it sufficiently to actually break the skull.
Yeah, I feel like this was like a Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield kind of thing, where he just took a chunk out of the flesh. It's just a flesh wound, but still having a chunk of your head bitten off by another dude is kind of unsettling.
I would say kinda is a bit of an understatement there.
Like, he bit a piece out of the man's head.
The picture of the bite has been blurred due to its graphic nature in the AP article.
Oh my God, he went through the skull, bro.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Dude. That was no longer a human being, okay? That was a freaking...
That was The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's a demon. That's a zombie. Like, somebody grab a crossbow because we need to take this motherfucker down.
That fucker can steal at least 3 police vehicles.
I'm throwing on a flannel and a leather vest. We are going and grabbing my crossbow. We are going to come. We got this.
You got to use the crossbow because you don't want to attract any of the rest of them.
Exactly. It's got to be quiet.
Yeah. It's just...
I actually went as Daryl for Halloween once, and I still have the leather vest with handmade wings sewn onto the back of it. Yeah, I will totally rock that and carry a crossbow. Don't even tempt me in the zombie apocalypse.
I found a picture of the guy who did the biting, and he looks like the kind of guy who
would bite the chunk out of somebody's skull.
Yes.
In fact, his mugshot here makes
he's smiling.
Like he's smiling. Looks like he did it, and he's like, "I give 0 fucks about this."
He's probably still high.
With what he took, I imagine. Oh my God.
And that's not including whatever else he was on from the contact. It's an EDM festival in Florida. You know, there's all sorts of stuff floating through the air. So anyway, yeah, there's a Florida man story for you.
Like that dude, I don't know what it was about the drugs, like, because he was a volunteer there. So, like, but somehow he took enough drugs, a combination of enough things that he heard. And what that translated to was eat a man's skull. Like,
PCP.
He volunteered to make sure the drugs weren't tainted.
Yes.
That's what his job was.
Allegedly high on multiple drugs, including PCP, LSD, ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy.
What is even the point of combining PCP and ketamine? But just so they duke it out in your system? What's the point of that?
Inside you are 2 wolves.
One is PCP, the other is Special K.
This one also has a moose, and there's a tiger, and there's a dragon.
There's several dragons. One of them's in the kitchen. If you see it,
and he was also on ecstasy, so there was a panda.
Love panda. We don't swing that way. Love panda. I mean, dude, like, what? Why even combine those? That just seems like it's counterproductive.
Florida man doesn't make sense.
I know, but like, it seems like like, why are you taking both PCP and ketamine? Like, you just want them to duke it out. That's like putting a humidifier and dehumidifier in the same room.
Right next to each other.
It's like, what's the point of that?
I don't know.
It's, you know, I guarantee you.
Maybe it's the same concept as why they put like 500 milligrams of caffeine in the original Four Locos.
I mean, it's it's like, you know what this reminds me of is like they're gonna give him like some sort of a sedative to get him to jail, and like it's gonna be like that scene in the Fallout series when she shoots the ghoul with the tranquilizer. She's like, "That's just a teeny tiny drop in one great big bucket of drugs."
Yes.
Like, what are you gonna shoot him with? He's already taking ketamine.
just imagine that come down.
No.
Dude.
Coming down off of X alone is bad enough.
And LSD and Special K and
PCP.
Probably mescaline while he was at it. Who knows? What mushrooms? So psilocybin.
Right. So cannabis in the air. Right.
Which is just given.
Entirely possible. Fentanyl in the air.
Dude. That is a hell of a cocktail, man.
Makes me wonder if that cop got a little bit of a trip from the direct contact to the fucking
just
brain.
from the contact with his saliva. He was like, whoa.
Man, okay. Yeah.
That's dust would be pretty fast.
Yes. Okay. Update on one of our favorite subjects, the bikini baristas.
I mean, they're definitely one of my favorite subjects.
Absolutely.
After a long battle, Everett, this is Everett, Washington, rewrites bikini barista dress code. After a 15-year battle, the bikini baristas of Everett now have a less stringent dress code following a judge's 2022 ruling, finding the city's old dress code was unconstitutional. Last year, the city paid $500,000 in a settlement to Giovanna Edge, owner of Hillbilly Hottie's Espresso, as well as
Hillbilly Hottie's Espresso. I'm already sold.
Yes. Yes. It's at 4043 Hoyt Avenue, by the way. It says in the article.
All right, Andrew, looks like we're taking a road trip.
Yeah, road trip.
As a result of the settlement, the Everett City Council changed the dress code Wednesday, requiring baristas to only abide by the city's lewd conduct laws. The council did not comment on the matter before or after the unanimous vote at Wednesday's meeting. Lewd conduct laws only require people to cover, quote, minimal body areas, that is genitals and female breast, with an opaque material.
That seems rather sexist. Why do men get to run around with their breasts revealed and women don't?
That's hashtag for the nipples.
Yeah, free the nipples.
Yep. The former, more restrictive dress code approved in 2017 required employees of, quote, quick service stands.
Yeah.
There's not a hidden meaning there. Quick service stands to cover the upper and lower halves of their bodies with tank tops and shorts. The settlement was the outcome of a lawsuit Edge and employees filed against Everett in 2017, alleging the dress code violated their First Amendment rights. They argued clothing is a means for self-expression, so dictating what they wore infringed on their rights.
I mean, because it does, because clothing is a means of self-expression. That's actually an established SCOTUS decision.
Yes.
That clothing is a means of self-expression.
Yeah. Quote, as a result of the amendment, that is the dress code change, the baristas will be able to dress just as they can anywhere else in the city. That is Assistant City Attorney Ramsey Rammerman. Ramsey Rammerman. Ramerman.
Cart Ramrod. Say Cart Ramrod.
There are hidden jokes in this entire article.
Oh my God.
Espresso stands and other establishments could face fines for not complying with the lewd conduct laws. After 3 violations, they could risk losing their license, Rammerman added.
Rammerman visits the quick service stand.
Rammerman visits. He wants some quick service from the bikini baristas.
Yeah,
in the espresso lane.
Also, so
the visit the Hillbilly Hotties.
Yes,
Hillbilly. I mean, I am all about Hillbilly Hotties. I didn't used to be about Hillbilly Hotties, and then Liz happened. And if you don't know who Liz is, look up Sad Spice. You'll understand why Hillbilly Hotties. But also, the very first picture on this article at the very top, like, I am fucking sold.
I looked up hillbilly hotties, and I am fucking sold.
Oh my god. Yup.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Dude. Yes.
So anyway, now that we're all distracted.
Okay, so
you distracted me as soon as you said hillbilly hotties the first time.
Yeah, where are we? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, in 2019, the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals sided with Everett, allowing the city to implement its dress code. Just imagine that you're a coffee employee, and you can wear minimal clothing, like I mean minimal clothing, to work, but then you have to get covered up to serve coffee.
You're welcome, boys.
Yeah, I can't let
like
right now. I'm busy.
I went and found their Facebook page and threw it up in the group chat.
I'd find their Instagram.
Yeah, they're bound to have a hell of an Instagram, but yeah. So preliminary injunction in 2017 against Everett. 2019, they side with Everett. As others bringing the suit filed to present to the U.S. Supreme Court. 2020 court did not hear the case. However, Ricardo Martinez ruled the dress code unconstitutional. The new amendment aims to ensure owners adhere to lewd conduct laws prohibiting touching or exposing genitals or any other public conduct considered indecent. So, y'all can have your nip nops out, but just don't be like rubbing them.
Yeah, all it says is a lewd conduct law only requires people to cover, quote, minimal body areas, genitals, and female breasts.
Yeah, and like it as long as
with an opaque material.
So if you're wearing like sequin star like pasties, right? And like one of those little tiny triangle string bikini numbers, it's enough. It's covered.
Yes.
Right. Now, granted, why would you do that while you're making coffee when there's boiling hot water splashing about? I don't know. That seems like a higher risk than maybe
because they want people to kiss the boo-boo.
Well, I mean, yes, but at the same time.
So you guys will be maybe a little bit disappointed. Hillbilly Hottie's Instagram is marked as private, and you have to request a follow.
That's fine. I'm on Instagram. Yeah. Chris isn't participating. He's still looking. So, yes, that was an update on one of our favorite subjects. We have another update on a different article. And Andrew, you're still looking it up. Andrew's.
I may
Andrew,
or may not
currently
be.
Yes.
I may have requested a follow on that one too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that I'm just saying, like they're.
It's okay, you guys. I'll stay professional.
No, it's for research purposes as part of the citizen journalism.
This is purely for journalistic reasons that I need to follow the thing that the very first picture shown on this article is from their Halloween stuff.
Yes. She's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is entirely unrelated to my immediate need to see
more. Yeah. Okay. Back to being professional podcasters.
Most professional.
Most professional. Okay, do you remember us talking about Tennessee Wildlife Research or Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency
that planted cameras on a guy's property?
Trespassed on the private property and planted cameras. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. In December 2020, this is a Reason article, by the way, Reason.com. In 2022, Reason reported both state and federal wildlife agents routinely trespass on private land and plant cameras. 2 Tennessee homeowners successfully sued the state over the practice, and a 3-judge panel ruled in their favor. The state appealed the decision, and this week, the Court of Appeals ruled in the homeowners' favor.
Again in the
Shit.
homeowner's favor.
Yes, at issue was a state law allowing officers of the Tennessee Wildlife Research Agency or Resource Agency, that's the TWRI, to quote, go upon any property outside of buildings, posted or otherwise, in order to quote, enforce all laws relating to wildlife.
That literally is the definition of a violation.
Yes.
Of the Fourth and Fifth Amendments. That literally is a violation. Like, go on any that when the amendment says security in property and person, okay, when it's and your law says any property,
yes,
there is no argument to be made here.
Well, I mean, that's like what they used to get away with. The DNR used to get away with in Wisconsin, where if they so much as suspected that illegal hunting activity was happening on your property, they could just walk onto your property and come talk to you. Now they have to actually wait at the property boundary.
No, not anymore.
In Wisconsin, they do.
No, Supreme Court has ruled that they can use drones.
But they also ruled that you can shoot them down.
Yes.
Yeah, they can use drones, which means I get some shiny new parts for the recycling bin, which I'm going to take down to the local electronics recycling center and make a little bit of money on.
Okay. That's right.
In Minecraft. Okay. In the case of Terry Rainwaters and Hunter Hollingsworth, TWRA officers not only entered their respective properties, but also installed trail cameras to look for hunting violations, all without a warrant and ignoring no trespassing signs. A lawsuit filed by the Institute for Justice on behalf of Rainwaters and Hollingsworth asked the court to declare the law unconstitutional and issue an injunction against the TWRA, barring it from carrying out further warrantless intrusions. Under the, quote, open fields doctrine, Supreme Court precedent dating back to Prohibition holds that undeveloped land on someone's property lacks the same rigorous Fourth Amendment protections as their home and the, quote, curtilage that is the area immediately surrounding the home. In March 2022, I know we covered that ruling. In March 2022, a 3-court panel from the Benton County Circuit Court ruled in the homeowner's favor, finding that the state constitution provided more protection than the Fourth Amendment. It determined that the state law allowing the TWRA practice created, quote, an intolerable risk of abuse and was factually unconstitutional, but it stopped short of issuing an injunction. The state appealed the decision the following month.
Well, which is funny, right? So I want to point out. So they said it was facially unconstitutional, but did not issue an injunction, and the state still appealed. And now, because the state appealed, instead of just being told, "Hey, don't do this," they are now being ordered. You are no longer allowed to do this.
That's right.
In a hearing before the Tennessee Court of Appeals, Western Section, on June 2023, Institute for Justice attorney Josh Wyndham argued that the state law is unconstitutionally broad. Quote, it allows TWRA officers to enter and roam around private land fishing for evidence of a crime. It doesn't require consent. It doesn't require warrants. It doesn't require probable cause. It's a blank check for officers to invade private land whenever and however they please.
Yep. Exactly. And we went through this, like I said, before they changed the law under Scott Walker. We went through this in the state of Wisconsin, where if you, because Wisconsin has group hunting laws, right? So if you're out and you say, I don't have any more tags, I can legally hunt to help other people in my party fill their tags. Well, if I shoot a deer, I have to contact the other person using non-electronic means in order for that to be a legal transfer of a harvested animal. So what they would do, the DNR would do, is they'd get 4 or 5 guys to sit in the towns, the small towns, with massive antennas mounted on the tops of their trucks, and they'd wait to hear people use little handheld radios. Hey, I got a deer. Who wants to come tag it?
Yep.
And then they would show up and fine everybody.
Bastards.
And
yeah, which is why you develop codes, and
right.
You just go, hey, 10, 20, 10, 20.
Well,
No,
not only that,
you gotta do something. Hey, I just ordered a pizza and got a 6-pack.
Yeah. Or in the case of, when they finally did change that law, send a fucking text message.
Yeah.
But but they changed it because the DNR was engaging in that, where they would literally sit
message them on
in
Telegram.
the middle of message them on Telegram, do whatever.
Yep.
And that was the result of the state actually getting sued, that they changed the law. The state's like, I don't want to fight this anymore. Let's just change the law and then backdate it a couple of years and call it good.
Okay. Now okay, Andrew. I know Andrew's going to blow up on this next paragraph.
I know it. I read ahead a little bit.
You want to do it?
Sure. Amanda Jordan argued for the Tennessee Attorney General's office that the statute was not unconstitutional and that the policy was necessary for the TWRA to do its job. She argued that, quote, it's the particular purpose and function of the TWRA which makes such warrantless entry reasonable, end quote. Which means by fucking definition, your bureaucracy is unconstitutional. If you need that, if that is necessary for you to function, you are by definition unconstitutional and you need to be eradicated. Your entire organization needs to be shut down and eliminated. You all need to be unemployed, and hopefully all of you tyrant fucks wind up homeless and destitute in the street. Fuck you.
Okay, hold on.
I was going to let him cook a little more, but
one more paragraph. One more paragraph, Andrew.
No, I'll read this one and then I'll let Andrew go.
Okay.
All right.
Andrew's going to go. Hold the props.
Jeffrey Usman asked Jordan why, if the state would need a warrant in order to enter someone's property to look for criminal violations, it should not also need a warrant to do the same for civil violations of hunting laws. Jordan agreed that, quote, while normal law enforcement officers would not be able to enter, end quote, without a warrant, quote, you have to look at the state's interest in furthering its duty of protecting and preserving Tennessee's wildlife.
I saw Andrew clenching hands.
Let him cook. Let it go, Andrew.
Clear prop.
The state's fucking interest in protecting and preserving wildlife? Where is that in the Constitution?
Right? You have to protect the king's deer, Andrew.
Yeah, the kings. Do you know how many Irish people over the millennia?
That's why they lowered the speed limit, to protect the king's deer, right?
That's right.
It's if you okay, this is super basic. This is super basic to the United States, and I don't feel like this should be a complicated thing, right? If you need to violate the Constitution in order to do your job as a government functionary, you have a job which is unconstitutional, and you should not have a job. Your job should not exist. If your entire organization needs to violate the Constitution in order to do its job, you are the reason the founding fathers wrote the Bill of Rights. You are the reason that the Second Amendment exists. You are the reason why they rebelled against the British. This is what you are. Okay. You are by definition a tyrant. That is what you are.
I got this meme in my head. Right? Are we the baddies? No, it's the Constitution that's wrong.
Yeah, no, it's the Constitution that's wrong. This is right, like we talked about last show, right, with the Second Amendment thing in New York. Okay, and that fucking judge.
Oh my God, do I have one for you later? Another gun one for you later.
So like we talked about with that.
Am I gonna need that?
No.
I and I want to reiterate that nothing said on this podcast is intended to be anything but entertainment.
Brandon Briggs v. Ohio, 1969 ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical.
I love, Andrew, that you and I are the reason that became necessary?
We get on the show and immediately Jason has to start throwing that out. Like,
that
hey.
before I started joining the show on a regular basis, that little tidbit was not necessary to include. And then we did the Great Begaloo in Virginia, and all of a sudden it became necessary on every episode.
At no point
that
am
was
I
4 years ago now, by the way.
I know it was.
Yeah, for legal reasons.
I'm not okay
at no
with that.
point. Yeah, at no point am I advocating for anyone to actually take action based on my speech, and I do not think that anyone should take this as anything but the random ramblings of a drunken person. However,
Mildly intoxicated.
that being said,
how many apples do you see?
Hang on. Wait. I got a couple of them. We got a couple of attempts here. We got a couple of attempts that we can go for. We'll get it with one of them.
CRKT, nice.
We'll get it with one of them. But
that's the Trailhawk, right?
Is that Trailhawk? I don't know what that is. Actually, I don't remember offhand. But
I have
I
have the same one.
This is my throwing axe fun fact. It's perfectly balanced. It's very, very nice. And really, really sharp. But
until you bury it a couple times and whatever you're throwing it at.
It'll still be decently sharp. It's pretty good quality steel. It'll still be okay.
Hold on.
You got D2?
I think that's D2. I know for sure that this is D2. So there's also this.
I like my Camulus for that reason. That D2 steel holds an edge good.
Okay, wait.
Tangent.
Hold it. Did you read the rest of it, Chris? Like just the next 3 paragraphs.
The next 3 paragraphs? Yes, I read this article before I even saw it in the listing. So yeah, I know where we're going with this. And
in a decision issued Thursday, the Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the property owners. The TWRA claimed that the homeowner's claim of injury was, quote, speculative, as, quote, TWRA agents haven't entered the plaintiff's lands since September 2018. The court disagreed, writing for a unanimous court. Quote, even if the TWRA had not entered the plaintiff's property since 2018, it continues to assert its power to do so. The TWRA has asserted a continuing right to enter upon the plaintiff's properties. At oral argument, the TWRA suggested that if the plaintiffs want to keep the TWRA off of their land in the future, they should desist in hunting.
Well, if you don't want us to invade your privacy, just stop doing literally anything.
So the original lawsuit was filed in what, 2022?
2019.
2019, and they haven't been
2019, and then that was the first court, and then 2022.
Okay, so they're saying they haven't been on the properties since 2018.
Yes.
Assuming for whatever reason that those cameras had, I know they weren't, but had been left there this entire time, do you know how easy it is to self-contain a completely autonomous camera that just sends pictures?
Yes.
I mean, they sell them online for about $300.
You know how you defeat this if you find these cameras on your land. Don't even remove them. Don't even
shotgun?
No. What you do is you take a little stick and you glue it onto it with a picture of like an alien from Roswell. And you just glue that onto the front of the camera. And so every time that motion sensor trips on that camera,
aliens.
They just get pictures of aliens.
How about we put a picture of a Wendigo on there?
Picture of my dick.
I was actually going to suggest like a butthole, like just a dude's butthole, like extreme close up.
No,
every single time, just butthole.
I was gonna say, go find 2 like 65-year-old morbidly obese people to go out in front of that camera and just fuck the living shit out of each other.
Oh God! just to, and I hope it's MP4 with audio.
Right?
I just imagine the wildlife guy puts on his headphones. He has his cup of coffee. He opens up his email, and it's just.
And on the video, all you can see is the wave of the impact
Stop!
rolling up the rolls.
Stop it! Stop it! No, I apologize to all of our listeners right now who have been subjected.
I apologize for fucking nothing.
I apologize to all of you. I'm so sorry for my coworkers here.
Oh, flap.
Stop! No, this is worse than when I mentioned Nancy Pelosi in a bikini on a cold day. Okay,
flap her thighs and ride the wave in.
Okay, let's just they're not. We just want 2 people that are not bikini barista material,
right?
Yes, like Lizzo.
No, I just gave the absolute worst example I could think of. I mean,
you know what? Just like, because here's the thing, right? Those are pretty easy to get into. They're pretty easy to break into, right?
Yeah.
And replace the SD card. So you just replace the SD card with like Belle Delphine photos. Just
no, but the problem is those things are cellular connected. So every time they take a picture, they store it, but then they send it out too.
Oh, okay. So then what you do is you print out, make sure it's matte, right? You don't want any glare. And you just print out pictures of dogs' buttholes. Just go around your neighborhood. I just need a picture of your dog's butthole. Why? You'll know. And you just take a bunch of pictures. And so it's just endless.
You're going to get arrested for taking pictures of dogs' buttholes.
Just endless photos.
No, all you got to do is go to the dog park and wait for the Shih Tzus to arrive.
Fucking 30,000 photos of dog buttholes. Just here you go, you pervs.
How to send dick pics to the government. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I'd be all about that, you know. Like,
okay, hold on.
Oh wait, on that same vein, did you see what they're doing in the UK to traffic cams?
Yes,
they're putting bat boxes over them, so they can't legally remove them.
It's not the traffic cameras; it's the energy efficient.
Yes.
Cameras.
Yep.
Right, the energy efficient vehicle cameras.
Yep. So they're putting bat boxes over them, like bat nests.
Yep.
Because then the government can't remove them under law.
By their own law, the government cannot remove them.
Yep. Oh yeah, because bats are protected. It's
the same in the U.S. issue. Actually.
Yes. Yeah, we actually had that issue, and it was super bizarre recently, where I went to open our back door, and there was, as I went, because our screen door doesn't want to shut all the way because it's a pile of shit. But anyway, there's a little brown bat on the door, and I'm like, I have it half open and go, oh God, and let go of the door, and the bat falls off.
Yes.
And onto the stairs. Right now, I don't touch the little brown bat because little brown bats are federally protected, and they're also state protected by the state of Wisconsin because they're an endangered species. You are not allowed to touch these things. You are not allowed to mess with them. You are not allowed to do anything with them. So I don't touch this thing, right? Well, Lindsay calls animal control. Animal control picks it up and has no idea that they're a protected species. and they're like, when did that happen?
They're hourly wage employee.
Yeah, and they're like, when did that happen? And she's like, 2018. And he's like, oh, really? Well, they're listed on the endangered species list.
Well, especially with the white-nosed bat syndrome that's been flying around.
Yeah, so like, the crazy thing is like, we had one in our house a while ago where it wouldn't leave, and we didn't know what to do, and so we were calling these animal control places and stuff and going like, hey, can you come get this? Like, you're licensed for that. We're not, because they're protected species. And they were like, just call pest control. And I'm like, it's a protected species. How do you not understand? It's literally a felony, an actual felony for me to touch this animal. And you're telling me to just have some random dude named Bubba bring his beat up fucking 86 Chevy out and then like
with a lacrosse net.
Yeah, and then like smack it with a lacrosse net and throw it in a cage and then just like kill it. Like what? This is an endangered species that we're talking about here, and this is why it's endangered. What?
Yeah. All right. Let me do this one paragraph and we'll move on. This is from the Judge Usman. He said, "Quote: The TWRA's contention is a disturbing assertion of power on behalf of the government that stands contrary to the foundations of the search protections against arbitrary government intrusions in the American legal tradition generally and in Tennessee specifically. What the TWRA claims is reasonable is not."
Which is the absolute correct answer.
Yeah.
It's my property. You are not allowed on my property unless you either have a warrant or my permission.
Yes.
If neither of those two conditions are met, fuck you.
Fuck you. Yes.
Or exigent circumstances where imminent destruction of life or limb is reasonably and articulately believed to exist.
Yeah. Okay. Where do we want to go now?
We're already going to hell, so
yes. Okay. I mentioned the gun thing. Let's go to the gun thing.
Oh boy.
This is another recent article, and this one is. This one is tough.
This one is infuriating. I read this, not the Reason article, but I read the other article around this one.
Yes.
And the whole time, like when I get really pissed off, the back of my neck gets physically hot.
Yes. Okay.
And it felt like my neck was going to catch on fire.
Well, that's because you're a redneck.
Well, I mean, that's part of it.
That's why he gets his coffee from Hillbilly Hotties Espresso.
Man, I hope they offer delivery service. Like you can buy the beans. I would absolutely.
You know, all these chicks, they always do the videos where they're like answering the door for delivery people naked. Like, why can't I do that?
Hey, I've done that when the cops have showed up at my door before. Show up naked. It's like, hey, what can I do for you?
What can I do for you? You're naked. It's my yard.
I can't afford to pay for this pizza.
Yeah, surely we can come up with something for rent. And everyone else playing Monopoly.
Okay. Dennis Pawanda and Vincent Yakitis, Yakaitis.
I think it's Yakitis.
Yakitis?
That sounds right.
It looks Greek.
Sounds like an STD.
Yeah, it kind of does.
He probably picked it up at Hillbilly Hotties in Everett, Washington. Dennis Pawanda and Vincent Yakitis are bound together by a common experience. They were both criminally charged in connection with an attempted burglary. Pawanda was the burglar, and Yakitis was the property owner. Indeed, that is not
justice.
Yes,
right.
Indeed, that is not a misprint, a parody, or a bad joke. Pawada was arrested and charged with criminal trespass and burglary, along with other related offenses, for executing the botched raid a little before 2 a.m. on February 2023 at Yakitis's say it for me. Yakitis's property in Port Cabron, Pennsylvania. The government charged Yakitis, who was in his mid-70s, with using a firearm without a license after he shot Pawanda. Despite that it appears prosecutors agree, Yakitis justifiably used the same firearm in self-defense.
This is the insanity. This is
my entire statement right here.
This is the insanity, right? This is the insanity that exists in states where you don't have the proper protections on your Second Amendment rights, right? Like this is what happens.
Oh, hold on.
It reminds me.
Did you read forward in this?
I did not.
Okay, I haven't read the Reason article. I've read a couple of different ones.
Okay, hold on to that. Whatever your vantage point, whether you care about criminal justice reform and a fair legal system or gun rights or all of the above, it is difficult to make sense of arresting and potentially imprisoning someone over what essentially amounts to a paperwork violation. That injustice is even more glaring when considering that Pawanda, 40, allegedly charged at Euclides, who happens to be about 3.5 decades older than Pawanda. Pennsylvania's permitting regime does not carve out or does carve out a couple of exceptions, one of which seemed to highly favor Euclides. Someone does not need a license to carry, according to the law, quote, in his place of abode or fixed place of business.
Bam, case closed. This is the end of it.
Yeah, Euclides owned the home Pawanda attempted to burglarize. The catch, he didn't live there. It reportedly had no tenants at the time of the crime, opening a window for law enforcement to charge him essentially on a technicality.
Doesn't matter. If nobody is renting it at the time, it is strictly his property. It may not be his primary residence, but it is his direct property. There's no lease agreement, sublet, or leasing it out to another individual. Therefore, it is not somebody else's residence. It is his individual property.
It should tell you a lot, the fact that the government is looking for a technicality in order to charge him for defending his property.
It's the local police.
What a shock.
Okay. Oh gosh. Yes. I am amazed why the local police would never enforce gun control.
If convicted, Euclides faces up to 5 years in prison and $25,000 fine.
Where he'll probably die.
He's fucking 70s. Quite the price to pay for protecting your life on your own property. The misdemeanor charge also implies that Euclides has no history of using a weapon inappropriately or a criminal record at all, as Pennsylvania law classifies his particular crime, carrying a firearm without a license, as a felony. If the defendant had prior criminal convictions and would be disqualified from obtaining such a license. In other words, we can deduce that Euclides was a law-abiding citizen and eligible for a permit, which means he's staring down 5 years in a cell for not turning in a form and paying a fee to the local law enforcement.
Talk about fucking bullshit.
Yes.
Pretty much. They have to literally look at the statute and look at the line in between the two lines of text in order to find any gray area.
Well, yeah, that's the whole cusp of this, right? Is the definition of the word abode, right? Which is the person's home, right? Yeah, it's his property, he owns it, but he wasn't living there, right? So that's not the home listed on his ID or license.
But let's go back to the Tennessee article that we just covered. It's still his property.
I agree completely. I agree. I'm not arguing for the government at all.
I know you're not, but I'm making the case on the whole. It's still his property.
Yes.
There's nobody living there, so you can't claim that it's somebody else's abode.
Yes.
Well, so then it would fall back to him as the property owner, as a secondary, tertiary, whatever abode. It's his property.
It's his abode for the evening. If he legally owns it and he's legally allowed to stay there and he is sleeping there, then therefore that is his abode.
I don't know. I don't know if he was sleeping there. It's his property.
Yeah, it's his property. I agree completely. Scott says that Liberty Doll covered this. Nikki always does fantastic.
Yeah, it was a fantastic video. It was a great video. I remember watching that one, and it was because I watched her video that I went out and read a couple other news articles about.
And it's another one of those stupid things, those stupid little laws that, just like the Tennessee one, just like the Bikini Baristas one, it's just it's these tiny little laws. Oh, we have to be able to do our job, right? We have to be able to enforce this. To enforce this little thing, that has huge consequences.
Well, and they have the ability to enforce it if they feel it necessary. The fact of the matter remains, the dude was in a property he owns. He was threatened by somebody else, but who forcibly entered the property.
Yes.
And he defended himself. Case closed. Book shut. That's the end of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and the article goes on, and and I think it's important to note that Euclides is not the first case. In June,
No. I was
law
just reading
enforcement.
this little section
Yeah.
here. It says the public defenders offered several case studies centered around people whose lives were similarly upended. Among them were Benjamin Prosser and Sam Little, who both had been victims of violent crimes and who are now considered, quote, violent felons in the eyes of the state simply for carrying a firearm without the mandated government approval. Little, a single father who had previously been slashed in the face, was separated from his family while he served his sentence at the Vernon C. Bain Center, a notorious jail that floats on the East River. The conviction destroyed his nascent career, with the Department of Education rescinding its offer of employment. So they wrecked this man's life because he protected himself without a piece of paper.
Well, it goes on. In June, law enforcement in New York charged Charles Foner with so many gun possession crimes that, if convicted on all of them, he would face life in prison. And police only became aware of his licensed firearms, his unlicensed firearms, when Foner defended himself against an attempted mugger, after which they searched Foner's home and found that only some of his weapons were licensed with the state.
Well, that's like that guy that, again, from New York, who had a machine shop in his basement, who was finishing out 80% on his own. They charged him with multiple felonies for finishing his own firearms.
Yeah,
he wasn't selling them. He was doing it for his own use.
Yeah, he never even that last one, the one that we covered last time. He wasn't even he hadn't even fired them.
At all. They weren't even verified to be functional. I mean, what's ridiculous, like with the Foner case, though, is that if you actually look up the New York case law, he is currently facing more time for his guns than, had his mugger survived, his mugger would have been facing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For jail time.
That's how absurd these fucking bullshit laws are.
Yes.
Yeah, there's also LaShawn Craig, another New York City man. He too shot someone self-defense, and he too was arrested for doing so without a license. Like Foner, he was charged with criminal possession of a weapon, a violent felony in New York, because he didn't pay his blood money to the state and get a piece of paperwork.
Yes.
I'm gonna go out there and say this. I want to say I'm not affiliated in terms of I'm not receiving any kind of dollars or anything like that from these guys. I stopped supporting the USCCA a couple of years back because of the way they treated a couple of their people, or the insurance company that backs their shit treated a couple of people. They're like, nah, we're not going to cover you. Get fucked. Liberty Doll is sponsored by these guys.
They violated the law.
Right. Liberty Doll is sponsored by these people. It's attorneys on retainer.
Yeah.
I signed up with them. Absolutely recommend it, because not only do you get a licensed attorney who's literally at your beck and call for Second Amendment related items, but for a reduced rate, because you're paying their subscription fee, you get all other services.
Yes.
And they cover the interstate, I don't remember what it's called, but the interstate permission, where they have to file the permission slip to the state that you reside.
Yeah.
In order to practice law in that state temporarily. They cover all of that as long as you keep up with your monthly dues. Absolutely recommend attorneys on retainer.
Well, the thing is like this, everything that we're bringing up with the New York cases, right, is incredibly relevant, because that's where Bruin was.
Yeah.
Right? It was New York v. Bruin. And don't forget, and as the article brings up, that it wasn't just like FPC who were the main attorneys behind Bruin. It's also the Black Attorneys for Legal Aid, the Bronx Defenders, the Brooklyn Defender Services, that all were signed on to that case in favor of what FPC was going for, right?
Yes,
for the overturning of New York's laws. And as they point out in the article, in many jurisdictions, including New York, it can be incredibly expensive and time consuming to get the required licenses, which in turn essentially makes the Second Amendment only available to certain classes, which is, as we all know, if you watch the show regularly, a thing that historically is associated with Europe, right? With the class system in Europe, where only the upper echelons of society, only the peerage, they were the only ones who were allowed to have weapons.
Well,
no one else was.
Not only that, but once they passed their concealed carry amendment, for lack of better terminology, in New York, they required they didn't require good cause, but they required you to be an upstanding citizen. So they had to have access to all your socials. They had to have access to
the moral clause.
Yeah, they had to have access to all this extra shit. And not only that, then on top of it, you still had to have an interview with your local police chief in order for him to approve it.
Well, yeah, and this is intentionally designed, right? This is born of the racist gun laws, and as we all know, all gun control is racist, and it's really ultimately race-based.
New York actually cited racist gun laws in order to justify their concealed carry laws that they had in place since the early 1900s.
And they literally directly reference laws that said that people of color were not allowed to have guns in order to justify why they were forbidding the carrying of guns. This is all gun control is racist. All of it. Literally every single piece is racism.
Fun fact. Armed minorities are harder to oppress. Armed populations in general, whether you're a minority, a majority, or you happen to be friends with the local minorities, are harder to oppress.
Yep. No.
So, as Jason's patch on his microphone says, keep your rifle by your side.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on to something. Okay, I have 2 articles left, and then I have the hidden article.
Oh God. Okay.
Let's go hidden.
No, let's not go hidden yet, because I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I can still hear you.
Hire the handicap. They're fun to watch.
Ooh, okay. Andrew, go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go through this article fast so that Andrew doesn't have time to comment on it. A divided Supreme Court ruled Thursday that authorities do not have to provide a quick hearing when they seize cars and other property used in drug crimes, especially when the property belongs to the so-called innocent owners.
Fuck you.
By a 6-3 vote.
Why you gotta do this to me? Why?
By a 6-3 vote, the justices rejected the claims of 2 Alabama women who had to wait more than a year for their cars to be returned. Police had stopped the cars when they began when they were being driven by other people, and after finding drugs, seized the vehicles. Civil forfeiture allows authorities to take someone's property without having to prove that it has been used for illicit purposes. Critics of the practice describe it as, quote, legalized theft.
It is legalized theft. This is civil asset forfeiture. Civil asset forfeiture says that without any warrants or anything like that, they can just say, because this may have been used in the commission of a crime, we can take it.
Yeah,
we have no right to give it back to you, no matter how much you ask, or no matter how much you file, no matter how much you sue. Fuck you. Civil asset forfeiture is shit.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote for the conservative majority that a civil forfeiture hearing to determine whether an owner will lose the property permanently must be timely. But he said the Constitution does not also require a separate hearing about whether police may keep cars or other property in the meantime.
It is the unlawful seizure of personal property.
The Fourth Amendment? What?
Yeah, this is the thing, though.
In practice.
Don't forget the Fifth, the taking clause.
Yeah,
I would argue the Fifth is not used enough in this argument, because the police and the law enforcement agencies get to sell the vehicles and keep the proceeds.
Yeah.
Yes.
That, in my opinion, is unlawful taking.
Here's the thing though too, is like Kavanaugh is touted so often as like by both the left and right as this pinnacle of conservative.
He was an absolute fuckwad. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah,
he's a pro-gun liberal.
Yeah, and he was like, well, but I mean, they can't just take it, but they also don't have to give it back.
Yeah. Not only do they have to give it, but they don't. But you are not, according to SCOTUS, you are not entitled to, or you don't have to be granted a hearing for the police to take the property.
Yeah, they can just take it. They can just take it because they want to. They don't have to justify it. They don't have to even ever charge you with a crime. They don't have to ever even charge you
exactly
with a crime.
Here, I'm going to read the next paragraph because this, as much as I hate Sonia Sotomayor,
the next two,
I absolutely agree with this statement. Yeah. In a dissent for the liberal members of the court, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that civil forfeiture is, quote, vulnerable to abuse, end quote, because police departments often have a financial incentive to keep the property. Quote, in short, law enforcement can seize cars, hold them indefinitely, then rely on an owner's lack of resources to forfeit those cars to fund agency budgets, all without any initial check by a judge as to whether there is a basis to hold the car in the first fucking place. The fucking added for emphasis.
This is this is the thing, right? This is the danger of civil asset forfeiture, is that what you are literally saying if you support civil asset forfeiture is that the government can simply take your property.
Yes.
Yep. And that's it. The government can just take your property.
Listen,
because they don't need to charge you. They don't need to even reasonably. They don't need an articulatable crime that they believe that it's connected to. Anything else, they can simply take your property, and at that point, it takes the burden of proof off of you, or I mean, the burden of proof from them to you. So at that point, you no longer have a Fourth Amendment or Fifth Amendment right.
You are guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
So let me lay out a perfect example for you. Now, again, as Jason said, everything we say here is completely hypothetical.
Ish.
Let's say I had a rather defiant offspring living under my roof. And that defiant offspring decided to hide some drugs in her room. Meanwhile, allegedly. Meanwhile, she got caught with those same drugs on school property, which then triggered an investigation and resulted in them, under just cause, coming into my house and saying, we have just cause to search this property because we found these drugs on your child on school property. I would be in danger of losing my house to the state, even though I did nothing fucking wrong. My child did.
Yep.
Because they found something in my room, in her room.
All they have to do is suspect.
Yes.
They don't have to prove it. They don't even have to find it. All they have to do is suspect.
They just have to suspect it.
Don't forget that they seized, right? And we did this article, I mean, it was like a year ago or whatever, the where we covered where that stripper had her life savings on her in cash and got pulled over, and they just took it from her. And their suspicion that it was drug money was
truck
because
the truck driver. Yeah, the dude was going from Arizona to Alabama to buy a semi for his trucking company. He got pulled over in Arizona because he had $30,000 in cash.
Yep.
They're like, this must be drug money. We're going to take it.
Yeah, there's another one with a college student. They took his like $30,000, right?
Yeah,
like
not
at the airport, right? Heading to Chicago to Northwestern or whatever it was.
Yeah, because it's cash, right? Because it's
cash. It's
not
not
because
part of the
they
criminal
can
banking
actually, yeah, they can't actually track it to drugs.
Mhm.
They can't actually prove that it's in any
Mm-hmm.
possible way related to an illegal activity.
Yeah.
And then
But
they
under
say, now
civil
prove
asset
it's not.
forfeiture, yeah, under civil asset forfeiture, they don't need to prove it. They just need to go, well, why else would you have all this money?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
That's all they need.
So guilty
okay.
or innocent until proven guilty doesn't exist, especially with this ruling. It
No,
never
if you
really
can,
has exist.
if you can be
Existed.
shot, if you can be arrested for merely possessing a firearm, you are guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it.
and then
That's
of
like,
course you have the wonderful warrior cop ethos.
Yes.
They're like,
well,
don't forget
"Brr,
that training is illegal
them
in 9
guys."
different states.
It
yeah,
is
and it
illegal in
should
9
be
different
illegal
states.
in all states.
The
Yep.
problem is that's how they train their cops in those 9 states anyway. They still train those cops to be, well, every person I run across, every person I talk to on the street is a criminal.
Mhm.
I can remember way back. God, that was, and I'm dating myself here, but I can remember in, was that 2006, 2007, reading an article about how in an industry publication about how people in the private security business and things needed to stop letting people get so close to them and just assume that everybody was going to be a
Yep.
threat and a possible threat and treat everyone like a possible threat. And I remember at the time looking at that and going, in private security that makes sense because you're charged with protecting this very specific person. This is your job, is to
Or
keep
the
threats away from
specific
them.
location.
Yeah. Just assume that everybody is a potential threat and you're safer that way. But when you're the second part, right? Like look at police, right? The police are supposed to be to protect and serve.
Not anymore. They're law
Not
enforcement.
anymore. They're
Yeah,
law enforcement.
that was what they were
Protect and serve
supposed to
flew
be,
out the
right?
window with Warren.
Right. And that's the whole thing, is that the Supreme Court has ruled what, 5 times, I think?
Yeah.
5 times.
Warren,
that
Castle Rock is
No, it's like 11 times.
Yeah, it's multiple
far
times
more.
though,
There's
right?
5 big ones, but there's 11 total cases.
Right, but there's multiple times that the Supreme Court has ruled that the police have absolutely no obligation to protect you whatsoever. They can literally stand there and watch you get murdered by a serial killer and do absolutely nothing. And they're under no obligation.
That happened on the subway in New York.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. They watched a
absolutely.
guy have to take down a serial killer himself who was attempting to murder him, and they didn't step in until after
Uvalde.
the guy had subdued
No, more glaringly, look at Uvalde. Where the cops milled around and fucked off for how many hours?
Stoneman Douglas High School.
Stoneman Douglas.
Florida, yep.
I hate
that's
to. I hate
one
to
of the
give,
most recent ones.
I don't hate to give, but I'll give credit where it's due. Look at what happened in Chippewa Falls, where they had 2 different people 6 months apart write manifestos saying they wanted to shoot the place up in their middle and high schools.
Yep.
And then they didn't tell the parents about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Andrew, if you heard about that or not,
right.
but
we're getting way off track, you guys.
Not really. We're still on track.
There's one article I really, really want to get to, and there's the hidden article, which I think is a good one also.
All right, fine, let's go.
Yeah, we have limited time, so
okay. OnlyFans creator Farah Kahati claims she was paid to spread political propaganda for the Biden administration.
I wish this didn't seem believable, but there is no
this
possible
is
way that I'm going to question this.
This is 100% believable.
OnlyFans creator and TikTok star. I looked it up. She has like 1.7 million on TikTok. OnlyFans creator and TikTok star that claimed she was paid to spread political propaganda for the Biden administration on social media, and that she was asked to hide the fact that it was advertising. Farah Khalidi, Khalidi, Khalidi.
Khalidi, that sounds about right.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Farah Khalidi, said she had been asked to help boast about then Judge Khajiit Brown Jackson to her tens of thousands of social media followers after Brown Jackson was nominated to the Supreme Court by President Brown. Or by President Biden.
Khajiit has wares if you have coin.
Yes.
Khajiit wishes for advertising because she has coin.
she has no wares if you have coin.
Well, I mean that's true too.
Quote: I was total violation of the Everett decency laws.
Completely just derailed everything.
Yeah. Quote: I was doing full on political propaganda. The social media personality said during a recent podcast
nude as fuck.
With commenter Richard Hanaya.
I'm riding a 36-inch long Biden dildo.
Yes. Quote: the funny thing is they're like, do not disclose this as an ad, because they were like, technically it's not a product, so you don't have to disclose it as an ad. Because I think they just wanted like some edgy girl of color to just tell people, like when they nominated Khajiit Brown Jackson, they're like, quote, can you say as a person of color, you know that you feel reflected?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, can you just say that because you're the shade of your fucking skin is exactly the same as this person's, that therefore you support them? But don't worry, it's not identity politics, because you definitely support. No, this is
blatant fucking racism.
Yes.
And people wonder why we are the way we are in Ireland right now.
In Ireland, look at how things are turning out in the U.S.
Hashtag Ireland for the Irish.
No. Look at how things are turning out in the U.S. I mean, I know, it's a selection and everything, but it's hilarious when you look at the poll numbers. When you see how people are looking at Biden going, well, brown people, black people in general, they're like, Nah, fuck that dementia-riddled old bastard.
Hold on. It gets better, of course. When probed about the Biden admin, Khalidi, who boasts more than 119,000 Instagram followers, clarified that she was dealing with a, quote, conduit third-party media company at the time. Quote, it's not like Biden, but it's like a third party, you know what I mean? It's like the media company that's doing it on his behalf. I'm not blaming him for this.
It's like they laundered the fucking money like they did with Burisma. Jesus fucking Christ.
She went on to say that ultimately she pushed back against the script because it was a white woman from the media company telling her what to say.
Gosh, it's almost like I'm surprised.
Quote, and I'm like, quote, and I'm like, no. And she's like, please. And I'm like, no. I'll talk about the news of it, but I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to have a white person tell me to be like, this is how I feel as a person of color. It's just so, I think that black-pilled me slightly on political propaganda.
It fucking better have.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the shit. Okay.
Welcome to the dark side.
This is the fucking shit. Right here. Yeah. You fucking take that black pill. You fucking swallow it, like I'm sure you swallowed many other things.
She has swallowed a few things.
I can give her a few more things to swallow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
She'll need a black pill to get rid of. Quote, they're basically as like another black person. Can you just say that you feel reflected by Khajiit? I'm like, no, I'll talk about her background and her accomplishments, but you know what I mean? I'm not going to say like all the corny stuff, even if it was a brown person emailing it to me.
I mean, I give her credit.
To her.
Applause. Absolutely.
To her. I mean, applause to her for having at least a little fucking integrity. I wish she would have had more, but to just flat out say no and then immediately just reveal that this was an attempt that was made, because there are people who have done this. Carl, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys follow Carl. You follow Carl. You follow Carl on X, formerly Twitter. Right? Like you're a smartass Carl.
Okay.
Yep.
That guy. Okay. So like he posted a thing recently about
It's usually
how
goddamn it, Carl, but
he's the one who posted a thing where like he was laughing about the whole black people don't understand computers comment from a Democrat. And he had posted a thing about it, and he got so many people basically calling him an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
What a shock. I mean,
And
look at Eric July.
oh dude,
All
he gets it all the time.
He had that one white liberal girl delete her account.
Yes.
Yeah, because she called him a white supremacist.
No. She said she said shut up and let the black people speak.
Right.
And he replied with bitch, I am black.
Not only
and she deleted her account.
Yes, and that was
she
in
completely
response
deleted her
to the
account.
fact that he created his own comic book company because Disney fucked shit up so bad.
Uh-huh.
He creates his own comic book company. It's like, I'm going to let this stand on its own merits. If people like it, they buy it. If they don't, hey, I tried. And she goes, let the people of color speak. Bitch, I'm black. Deleted.
Yes.
I fucking
Like,
love
oh,
that
that's
because she didn't delete
fantastic.
it right away, right? He replied with "bitch, I'm black" and a selfie,
Right.
and she took about 3 hours. She took about 3 hours before all of the comments all streaming in. She just deleted her entire account. And the best part is people tried to hunt her down on other social media, found her other social media accounts. She literally deleted every social media account she had.
She was cyberbullied off the internet. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes, it was beautiful.
But like this is that identity politics bullshit, right? Like, and this is what the left wants to push, is they want to push this whole idea that it's white people versus people of color or whatever else. They ignore what it is, and it's about rights, and it's about the actual idea that you have a right to defend yourself, you have a right to protect yourself, you have a right to say what you want, do what you want. They ignore that it's about freedom, and that when you pursue freedom as an ideal, when you look at freedom as the be all end all, that it's about freedom, it's about being free. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do, I don't care what you want to own, as long as you're not hurting other people and infringing on other people's rights. I don't fucking care. As long as you are doing that,
yep,
I support your rights. The problem is that why our message is so dangerous to them is because we honestly believe that I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care any of that. I don't care what you want to do to your body. I don't give a shit, right? None of this matters to me. None of this is important to me as long as you're not infringing on anybody else's rights.
Yes.
I don't care. That is what makes our message so dangerous to them, because they do care, right? The left has always cared. Remember that the left, the Democrats, they're the party of slavery. They're the party of Jim Crow. They have always cared.
Their power lies in keeping everybody squabbling amongst themselves. As long as everybody's bickering amongst themselves over menial shit, they don't have to worry about everybody coming together and being like, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you talk to your neighbors, if you learn that between the two of you, you have a lot more in common than you have that's different. If you talk to the people around you, if you talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to everybody, it's real easy to come together and go, we agree on all this shit. We disagree on these couple things.
Dude, I have rainbow flag flying lesbians that live just down the street from me that I have significantly more in common. I agree with on significantly more
yes.
than the lefty Karens that live right across the street from me.
Yep.
More than
Okay.
that,
but
I have a sister.
when any of them let you William Tell an apple off their head after you drank a whole bottle of mead?
No.
I mean, no, that's just you
That's
guys.
why I'm better than them.
I personally would not let Andrew William Tell an apple off my head with a hatchet.
That's why
I fucking wouldn't. I wouldn't let anyone William Tell an apple off. No, I would not. I don't really want to do it. I mean,
Andrew,
like, if you're really committed to it.
Would you let me William Tell an apple off your head with a 6'5" Creedmoor from 200 yards?
No, I'm not. No.
That's because you're not me and you don't hate yourself enough.
I mean, that's fair.
Okay. All right.
No.
Top.
I hate myself enough. I hate myself enough. What it is that I value my contributions to the coming treason way too much.
It's only treason if we lose.
That's right.
Okay. Top FBI officials urge agents to use warrantless wiretaps on U.S. soil.
No. There are constitutional amendments about that.
There's
as
old.
There are paper shield amendments about that.
As we have determined, we already have we've already discussed the first and the second,
the fourth and the fifth
and the eighth.
And in some small regard, we've kind of touched on the 9th and 10th.
There's an argument. There's an argument to be made for the 14th also.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So we've covered a wide swath of the Bill of Rights plus.
Yes.
Now proceed.
Okay. A top FBI official is encouraging employees to continue to investigate Americans using a warrantless foreign surveillance program in effort to justify the Bureau's spy powers, according to an internal email obtained by Wired. Known as Section 702, the program is controversial for having been misused by the FBI to target U.S. protesters, journalists, and even sitting members of Congress. U.S. lawmakers, nevertheless, voted to extend the program in April for an additional 2 years, while codifying a slew of procedures that the FBI claim is, quote, working to stop the abuse.
What do they call this program? The Abraham Lincoln?
Obtained by Wired.
They call it the fucking Patriot Act.
An April 20 email authored by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate to employees states, quote, to continue to demonstrate why tools like this are essential to our mission, we need to use them, and the use is emphasized, while also holding ourselves accountable for doing so properly and in compliance with legal requirements.
The government shall investigate itself and determine it did nothing wrong. Jesus fucking Christ.
While investigating you and deciding then if you did anything wrong.
This falls right in line with everything that we just read. I think it was in this past week about the IRS.
Okay, hold on. Give me just give me another paragraph. Okay. I had to come down just a little bit. Okay. Abate added, quote, I urge everyone to continue to look for ways to appropriately use U.S. person queries and advance the mission, with the added confidence that this new pre-approval requirement will help ensure that those queries are fully compliant within the law.
I'm going to get myself drawn.
This is why Brandenburg v. Ohio was invented.
Yes, I'm trying really hard.
Ooh, Andrew has resistance grade weaponry.
Yes, he does. Hey,
yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, you just keep up that. I promise. Mm-hmm. It definitely won't backfire.
Yeah. No, what I have is not going to backfire. I promise you that.
We need to have an entire episode on resistance grade weaponry.
Anarchist Weapons Wednesday?
Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of episodes. Unfortunately, that Facebook got deleted, so all those episodes are gone. But
they're still on YouTube, aren't they?
They are. I think they are all still on YouTube. They are still on YouTube if you want to check them out.
Okay, we might need to put that one directly on Rumble or Odyssey.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But this falls in line to me.
You could also stream it to our Telegram chat.
Yes, we could.
We could do that.
But
you know what we really should
do
do
very much so about the whole IRS announcement. I think it was this past week.
Hold on, we'll get there. Quote, the deputy director's email seems to show that the FBI is actively pushing for more surveillance of Americans, not out of necessity, but as a default. This directly contradicts earlier assertions from the FBI during the debate over Section 702's reauthorization. That is from U.S. Representative Zoe Lofgren, a Democrat from California.
Goosfraba.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. You're gonna need to keep that in your thought. Following publication, an FBI spokesman, Susan McKee, provided a statement from the Bureau that mischaracterized Wired's reporting inaccurate, claiming it, quote, alleged that the FBI instructed its employees to violate the law or FBI policies. The statement added that Abate's email, quote, emphasized Congress's recognition of the vital importance of FISA Section 702 protect the American people, and was sent to ensure that the FBI personnel were immediately aware of and in compliance with the privacy-enhancing changes the law has put in place.
Privacy enhancing.
Those words in relation to any law the federal government passes.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna read that. And in compliance with the privacy enhancing changes the law has put in place. I thought, the Fourth Amendment was a privacy enhancing change.
The Fourth Amendment is a pretty good privacy related law. I'm just saying, I'm not saying there's a solution.
Hold on. Okay.
But there are solutions.
Yeah.
Silly
me, I was under the impression that the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution were laws, but apparently they're suggestions to these motherfuckers.
Well, yes. They have recently declared that there are aspects, what was that I heard? There are, quote, aspects of the Constitution which after 200 plus years need to be reevaluated.
Well, that was
in the modern context.
That was Obama's thing with the Second Amendment.
Yeah, he said unfortunately the founding unfortunately the founding fathers they put in place a system that made it very difficult to do what I want.
Yes.
It starts with that, but I mean there are comments even more recent than that where you're talking about that lunatic fucking Maxine Waters or Jumbo Tits Pelosi, even President Dementia, where they stand there and they go, Grant, I'm hamstrung by the Constitution.
Oh darn. Right.
When has that ever fucking stopped any of you pieces of shit?
And again, as I bring up,
you want anyway.
As I bring up repeatedly on this show, if what you want to do as a function of government is hampered by the Constitution, you are the reason that it was written.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. All right. Authorized under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, that's FISA, the 702 program permits the government to enlist American companies to eavesdrop on a variety of communications, calls, text, emails, and possibly other forms of messaging, all without the need for a search warrant. The key requirement for the program is that at least one of the recipients, that is the individual targeted, be a foreigner responsibly believed to be somewhere other than on U.S. soil.
They don't even need to actually believe that they're a terrorist. They just need to believe that they're a person that isn't in America.
Yes.
No, it gets better than that. This is what they say in the article. If you have friends like I do, anybody who has dual citizenship counts as a foreigner.
Andrew.
Hi, how you doing, kids?
Anybody with dual citizenship. So, for example, my ex-mother-in-law, we won't use present company, but my ex-mother-in-law still retains her German citizenship, and she has passed the American citizenship test. Therefore, she is a U.S. citizen too. She qualifies under this as a foreigner, even though she's a U.S. citizen.
Yep. Andrew has dual citizenship, so we're fucked.
Oh, we were fucked a long fucking time ago.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's what I still think is hilarious is that they won't talk to me, but they'll talk to everybody that I know. And
right.
I think that that's because of my dual citizenship, because I could go and complain to other governments and they're concerned.
Yes. To be fair, I haven't seen them in a while.
Okay.
Until they watch this, of course.
Okay, in a statement to Congress last year, FBI Director Christopher Wray emphasized that the Bureau's focus was on, quote, dramatically reducing the number of times its agents scoured the 702 database for information on Americans. The frequency with which the FBI runs U.S. phone numbers or email accounts through the 702 database is hazy. The Bureau first began reporting the figure publicly in 2021, releasing the total number of times that those searches took place. Remember, this is from the FBI's numbers.
That number is 2.9 million?
Yes.
So they searched that database 2.9 million times without a warrant for your information.
Yes. Okay. Hold on. Not just 2.9 million times. Since then, the FBI has, quote, updated its counting methodology to count only unique searches.
Fuck you!
To wit, running the same phone number through a database multiple times a year now counts as a single search.
Right. So 2.9 million is only how many unique numbers.
No. 2.9 million was the original number.
The
new unique number
as a result,
is 119,383.
Yes.
In 2023, under more stringent guidelines, it dropped to 57,094.
Again, that's 57,000
unique.
57,094 unique. So 57,094 new.
Yes. That
searches.
Doesn't include the previous year. That doesn't include anything else.
That does not include the previous 119,383 or the previous 2.9 million.
No.
Right. So this means that they've effectively searched.
They've
3 million Americans.
No, just not only like that. Not only that, they've expanded. They've expanded their searches by 57,094 last year.
Yep.
They expanded their searches by 119,383 the previous year.
Yep. They're only counting new unique searches. So that as that number continues to dwindle, remember that it's not counting anything else that it has previously searched.
Yes.
So, I mean, essentially what this means, hang on, give me a minute.
Oh.
Enemy of the state, right? When did that come out?
2001?
Enemy of the state came out. Enemy of the State came out in 1998.
Oh,
Yes.
shit. All right.
26 years ago, that Enemy of the State came out.
That's
that
the
was-
that's the Gene Hackman, Will Smith.
Will Smith movie.
Right.
Fantastic watch, by the way.
Yes.
Fantastic movie.
Yes.
But if you
And
watch
their
that and look
technology-
at today, you're like,
Their
that was-
technology has advanced by 26 years.
Yep.
And don't forget the Snowden movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
If you go and watch that movie, and you have to understand that the the government has an office in Hollywood, right? The FBI has an office in Hollywood. The DOD has an office in Hollywood, right? And they tell people, okay, you can only go so far with this, right? Or this is accurate, this is inaccurate,
Yep.
etc. Right?
And that's
So-
only because we know about that in recent times. We didn't
Yeah.
know about that back
So
when
so
Enemy
no-
of the State came out in
yeah,
'98.
so when the Snowden movie came out, the information in the Snowden movie is the restricted version of what the government would allow to be put out.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So, which gives more even plausibility
I was
to
gonna say Citizen 4, by the way, which is the Edward Snowden documentary, came
uh,
out in 2014,
10 years ago, decade ago.
decade ago.
Yes.
We
And
knew.
you think
what
their
prison was.
technology hasn't improved beyond what Snowden leaked out to us 10 years ago?
And that's just what was leaked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but he's a Russian agent. Blah 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 blah. Shut
No,
up.
Fucking left
Shut the
is all-
fuck up.
You're my good directions. Good
I
Lord.
couldn't care fucking less about Russians these days.
At this point,
I
with
just
how
want
much
their
the left,
fucking- I just want their AKs.
at this point, with how much the left hates the Russians, if they invaded, I'm not entirely sure I would be on the side of repelling their invasion.
It'd be Wolverines with a question mark. Wolver.
Like, part of me is opposed to being governed, but on the other side, like, but you're getting rid of the American government, so like, can I
Yeah.
entirely hate you? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
It's like the the meme. Aliens land. Take us to your leaders. Okay.
You do not want to meet them, but all right.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, I don't have anything else.
Yep, I don't have anything else. Are we doing plugs? We plugging
doing-
things?
Plug away.
We throwing out the
to go to the
plugs. All right, so if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, go ahead and check out thebeardstruggle.com. Use code InkedAnarchist15, and then you can get 15% off of their beard care items. You can also get stuff for the ladies. They have perfumes, they have shampoos, conditioners, not just for your beard, which I highly recommend, but also for your actual hair. They have stuff for all sorts of things. You should check them out. Again, it's thebeardstruggle.com and use code Inked Anarchist 15. Also check out Reaper Brand Apparel. They are an awesome company with an awesome message, and they support us and we support them. And if you don't follow them on Instagram too, you should definitely do that. Take their 15-day challenge. It will change your life for the better. And if you use the link in the link tree that we have, you will get a significant discount. You'll get a slightly less significant discount. I think it's 15 versus 10, if memory serves. And you can use Inked Anarchist for a 10% discount off of their stuff, or you can use the link, you get 15%. We are also sponsored by, it's over here, Lions Not Sheep. They're super cool. I really love a bunch of their stuff. The book is awesome. If you haven't read Radical Change Requires Radical Change, you should probably check it out. Their Free Man shirt is awesome. They're super cool. I really, really love them. And they also support the channel. So check them out. Again, link in the link tree. You get a discount if you use it. Also, Coffee Brand Coffee. check out Dave at Poppins Patches. As far as those patches go, he sends us all sorts of stuff. The stuff that we've given away, stuff that I have en route.
He's been dropping some Helldiver patches.
Yes, some awesome Helldiver patches. Yeah, and and I haven't actually gotten to play Helldivers because I don't have a PlayStation or a gaming computer that will function. But yeah, if you want that, yeah, the all of the giveaway patches that are currently out there on their way to you guys in the mail, those are all from Dave. Courtesy of him. He's a really big supporter of the channel. We're a really big supporter of him. We try to direct as much stuff to him as possible.
And
he has awesome patches.
Bravo to you guys for like actually listening this far into the podcast and knowing to message us.
Yeah,
and not just hanging up, not just clicking in, not just closing out the app. What?
Yeah. Holy
Why?
Cow. Like
what's wrong with you?
we actually had a bunch of people that wanted stuff and actually listened this far. So yeah, your stuff is all on the way.
Had more people message than we had patches.
Yes, that is dramatically more actually.
Yes.
So those of you who I decided I wanted to send patches to, your patches are on the way. They are in the mail. How fast they get there is up to the United States Postal Service. So we'll see.
Luck.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Good luck with that. May the odds be ever in your favor. But those are on their way. Check out Dave. Use Abolish ATF so you get your discount over there. What else we got? There's other people that sponsor us. Oh, RK Spookware. Check them out. If you know who they are, you know what they do, you know why you need them. There's a huge roll of PLA directly behind me over here that is brand new. You can probably guess what they do.
The Polishnikov V4 is out. All right, that's the V4 version of the 3D printed AK.
Nice. Yeah, if you are doing stuff like that, like you probably need them and you should check them out. They're going to be a really big help to you. So check them out. Use the affiliate link in our link tree so that you can order stuff from them and you help support the channel at the same time. Also, as it's scrolling across the bottom here, the plastic off. Check out Derga's book, Think for Yourself, Thinking Workbook for Beginners. Remember that it is for beginners. It is a workbook. If you do not observe those two things, we will make fun of you for your review.
Deeply.
But yeah, there's so much. Also, again, if you do want to support us, you want to, if you have a business, you want to support us, you want to support the podcast, please, for the love of God, hit me up. I am perfectly happy to hawk all of your shit on this show.
Yeah, and if you
support us.
If you support us enough, we'll actually do it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. If you actually give us enough stuff, we will support straight up, or if you give us money.
Yeah.
we will support you at the very beginning of the show so that everybody has to listen to it. But yeah.
Yes.
We would love more sponsors. We love all of our sponsors. We love all of the stuff that you guys do.
Yes. You guys got anything else? You want to go get a coffee?
Caffey? You want to get Caffey?
Caffey. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get a coffee if it's served by a chick in minimal clothing that is.
We could call that guy from Maine and take a police car.
No. Exactly.
Yes. We gotta get that guy from Florida though. He's got the hookup on the hookups. So
right. For sure.
Yeah. And I bet he's got some crazy party stories.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. Better than any deadhead.
Yes. So on that note, happy Mother's Day. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah.